Will Sutcliffe be joining? Just the mayor? Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering. Okay, perfect.
We'll have to get the digital by like five.
Okay, sounds good. Got that in mind.
I go back something.
You want me to ask for French? Well,
That would be great, yeah,
Okay.
especially if it's on the LRT.
Okay.
Start in 20 seconds.
It's a very specific number.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour à tous. My name is Sébastien Tremblay and I will be your moderator. Je m'appelle Sébastien Tremblay et je serai l'animateur de ce point de presse. Available for questions from the media we have. Disponible pour répondre aux questions des médias, nous accueillons le maire Mark Sutcliffe, Wendy Stephenson, interim city manager, directrice municipale par intérim, Don Herwire, interim general manager, planning, real estate and economic development, directeur général par intérim de la Direction générale de la planification, de l'immobilier et du développement économique, René Amelkar, general manager, transit services, directrice générale, service de transport en commun. And joining us via Zoom, we have Isabelle Jasmine, deputy city treasurer, trésorière municipale adjointe. I will now invite each agency in alphabetical order to ask questions. You may ask one question with one follow-up. Par ordre alphabétique, j'invite maintenant chaque organisme à poser une question et une question de suivi. When asking your questions, please identify who your question is directed to, and if you're in council chambers, please use the microphone. Lorsque vous posez vos questions, veuillez indiquer à qui s'adresse votre question et, si vous êtes dans la salle du conseil, veuillez le faire au micro. We'll now start with, nous allons commencer avec Cindy Tran at the Canadian Press.
Hi, I don't have a specific person that this is directed to, but this is in regards to a federal court filing.
Wait, unmute.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. So basically there was a federal court filing saying that the city is taking the feds to court over a $22 million shortfall in payments that they were expected to collect in lieu of taxes in 2021, 2022. Is someone able to speak on this and what's going on here?
So the background of this is that as many people know, the municipal government collects payments in lieu of taxes from the federal government. So the federal government does not pay property taxes to the city of Ottawa or to other municipalities across the country where it has buildings that it owns, it has properties. And the provincial government made a change to help small businesses. And the result of that change was that the federal government ended up paying less in the payments in lieu of taxes to the city of Ottawa. And that wasn't the intent of the provincial government's change. It wasn't to give a break to the federal government of Canada. It was to give a break to small business owners in Ontario. And so we and other municipalities across Ontario who are affected by this have been asking the federal government to pay what they had paid in the past or what they would have paid prior to that legislation. And we are working that out with the federal government. They're aware that we want the regular level of payment, and we're talking it through, but there was a deadline for us to make an application to the court in order to make sure that we could proceed with a legal action if necessary. And so that's what happened.
Okay.
Wendy, does that cover it? Okay.
Perfect. And a follow-up to that. So how might this impact budget planning since it is $22 million?
So it affects our budget significantly. $22 million is the equivalent of a 2% tax increase for Ottawa residents, roughly speaking. So we need to collect that money from the federal government, and we feel it's appropriate. It's the level they were paying before, and the intention was not for the federal government of Canada to benefit from this change that the provincial government introduced, and it affects not just Ottawa but other municipalities like Petawawa and others. So we're hopeful that the federal government will recognize that and make a change.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to Joe Tunney at CBC Ottawa.
Hi, and best we can, I'd like to get an answer in French and English. So this might be best directed at the mayor and transit services. You were set to go to court over the notices of default. Now you're working to finalize a settlement agreement. I know you can't go into specifics about exactly what that all entails, but what should residents take away from this seeming willingness to work with RTG? How do you explain going the settlement route over a formal court setting?
So all we can say about this today is that council approved a settlement agreement based on the terms that were disclosed in camera. They're confidential terms until the settlement is completed. And there will be a statement from the city of Ottawa within the days ahead, probably within a couple of days, with more information. But we can't say any more about the confidential terms until the agreement is finalized.
But not going into those specifics, what should residents just see as kind of a seeming more willingness to get along with RTG?
Again, we'll have more to say once the details of the agreement, once we can share more about the details of the agreement after the agreement has been finalized. But I think obviously you saw council approved the agreement, and I think the feeling of council is that it is in the best interests of taxpayers and residents of Ottawa and OC Transpo passengers, that this is our best path forward for the community.
And can I get that in French, if that would
Sure.
be okay?
Alors, nous pouvons pas dire beaucoup.
Can't really disclose much about the agreement. We made a legal commitment to that end. I think it's in the interests of Ottawa residents and OC Transpo passengers as well. But there will be a communique, a release in the next few days.
This is mostly a clarification. It's just the settlement agreement. I want to be sure, does it apply specifically to the notices of default, or does it also somehow apply to the lawsuits against RTG? I'm just wondering how narrow this is exactly.
So again, we'll have more to say about the details once the agreement's finalized, but we can't talk about that until the agreement's been finalized. But we expect within the next couple of days, the city will be able to make a clear statement about what's happened here.
Can I get that in French as well?
Alors, je ne peux pas dire plus.
Well, I really can't tell you any more than I've already told you, but over the next few days, there will be a press release with the details of the legal settlement agreement between the City of Ottawa and RTG.
Thank you, Joe. We will now go to Josh Pringle from CTV Ottawa.
Good afternoon or good evening. Thank you very much for taking our questions today. My question is for the mayor. Is this deal is a sign that the city wants to start a new relationship with Rideau Transit Group and Rideau Transit Maintenance and turn the page and hope that the system and everything improves for transit riders?
Again, we can't talk about it much, but I guess I would say, the short answer to the question is yes.
And will any taxpayer money be used in this settlement with RTG, or will any taxpayer dollars be used?
Can't talk about the
settlement?
details until the deal, the final agreement has been reached.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Josh.
Josh. On va maintenant à Charles-Antoine Gagnon avec Le Droit.
Charles-Antoine Gagnon from Le Droit. Could you speak in the microphone, please? Along the same lines, it's an agreement with RTG, and it covers the dispute between the City of Ottawa and RTG, but will they continue to do the work for the expansion of line 1 and phase 2.
They're going to continue to work on the project.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we can say that, alors, en français, oui, nous travaillons.
Well, in French, yes, we're working together with RTG to maintain the service for OC Transpo passengers, and Ottawa residents will continue to work together. Yes. Thank you very much.
At the Ottawa Citizen.
Hi,
Hi, Taylor.
I'm actually not sure who's going to be best positioned to answer this question. If one or more of you feel you are, please just jump in. With the with the zero emission buses decision that was referred to Transit Commission today, it seems that the situation could have been avoided had there been a Transit Commission meeting scheduled. There hasn't been one since the election, and that item went to Transit Commission where there'd be an opportunity for public engagement, and then it came to council as per the usual process that I've seen for this kind of item. Why didn't that happen? Why did it come directly to council?
Je réponds en français.
I'll answer in French. Well, it's really simply because this is good news that we've been waiting for since last year. We wanted to analyze this so that we can move forward. But of course, we received information from members, and normally we're supposed to go to the Transport Committee before it goes to Council. Thank you.
On the same issue, the decision taken by the majority of council today on this file was one to deal with this significant decision in a way that involved more engagement by both the public and councillors, members of this new council, before moving ahead with an ultimate decision on this. Do you think, Mayor Sutcliffe or staff, there's any kind of lesson you'll be taking from that, the way council responded and the kind of path they've set for this file going forward?
Well, I understand the concerns that were raised by councillors, and I respect those concerns. And I think we have a process now where we'll be able to deal with this fairly quickly, because there's unfortunately a requirement because of how all this came together. As Renee just said, it came together very quickly, and we're having to decide on the funding specifically on a tight timetable. But this is a process that began with the last term of council. It's not new. We knew we were going to get to this point at some point anyway. It's unfortunate that there was an election and a new council sworn in between the beginning of the process and this step in the process, but that's what happens sometimes. And so if this helps everybody feel more comfortable going forward about this decision and feel like there's been more of a process, I'm okay with that. There are always different tensions that are driving the decisions we make. There are different factors to consider. So on the one hand, we want to get this done as soon as possible because it's an amazing opportunity to purchase some new electric buses and to have the federal government as a partner in that. On the other hand, we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with the decision going forward. So I think we got somewhere where we'll be able to accomplish both those things in the next week or so.
Thank you, Taylor. This concludes today's media availability. Ceci conclut le point de presse d'aujourd'hui. Thank you, everyone. Merci tout le monde. Have a great evening.
Merci. Thanks, Seb. Thank you, Don.